Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're all having a lovely day today. So today we're going to get started working on what appears to be an A1989 T2 chip enabled MacBook. Let's open this thing up and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it and see if it's fixable. So we're just going to put the desk camera on here and see if we can outsmart this T2 chip. God help me. All right. First thing to do here, open up the bottom cover.
No, I think I'm done with this. I didn't put any notes for myself, so I don't know.
Uh-oh.
If you want to turn it on and see if it works. I think I'm done.
David, you want to turn that on and see if it works?
Okay. Well, if somebody wants to get to it before... I'll just work that, sir. You want to just put it in my status? Huh? It's the only one in my status right now. It's just sitting there. It's the only one in there.
Where's the machine I just finished? I'm working on this lovely A1989. It's one of my favorite computers.
Yeah.
You know what's under there? It's on the. Is it on this side or the other side? That disgusting.
T2.
Gross.
Have
All
a
right.
weekend.
See you later, Paul. Thank you for everything. You get your drone?
No, not yet. I'm still half excited.
Paul, you got to decide on a drone.
I need to watch some more videos.
Stop it.
I need to finish that video that I was watching.
Okay, make this. I got Paul the drone in exchange for him fixing my destroyed bicycle. I just don't feel like doing it right at the moment. Paul deserves a drone. Okay. Drones are a human right. Especially FPV drones that don't have stupid DJI lag on them. Alright, so you got this little thing that's definitely going to get lost. So let's see, how many volts we here? 5 volts, 400 milliamps. Do you make it to 20 volts at any point? No, you don't. I've never seen 480 milliamps being taken on an A1989 at 5 volts, so this should be interesting. Hit the road, Jack. You better come back. No more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. No more, more. Hit the road, Jack. Thank you, Grupo. I'm guessing they complain that it doesn't turn on, Josh, because that's what it does. Hit the road, Jack. So many fucking screws, Apple. So many screws. Jesus. And little things that are tucked and hidden away. Bleh. Oh, and a little tiny flex cable that folds around that has adhesive holding it to the board. Thank you. And little pull tabs that don't actually allow you to pull. This is my favorite part. I love Apple engineering. I fucking love Apple engineering. It's just like, it's always something. Okay, check this out, right? So for ease of use, you have these little pull tabs, right? So once I release the latch, I should be able to just pull and the cable comes out. Okay, it did it to go fucking figure because I was saying that. But let's try that again. This one. Wow, this is what it must feel like to be a presenter at Elon Musk's new car thing. Yeah, on this side I tried to do it and I wound up, the little thing didn't have enough adhesive over here, so it just came right off. I always destroy the pull tabs unless I'm trying to make a point. Now I know what it feels like to be the dude presenting that Elon Musk truck. Now, I feel his pain. Hello, Killswitch Ninja. How are you today? Alright, unscrew. Now, I like to keep the charge port screwed to the board. The reason for that is that it pops off really, really easily, and it becomes very annoying. So I keep the charge port screwed to the board. And you can actually remove the board and the charge ports without unscrewing them from the board. But you have to be careful to not flex the board outside of tolerance while you're doing it. And that's not something I recommend doing without a lot of experience. Like, once you've had a lot of years of experience and you know what you can do and what you can't do, and then try to do that. In the beginning, it's probably best if you simply unscrew the ports from the board. Okay. You have a baggie? Yeah, any size baggie. This box is so useless. It has none. Oh, beautiful. Okay, now once. Okay, thank you. Now I have them in my little box. Just leave the ports in there. Why would I do that? Because then they pop off, and it's so annoying. Like, I want to be able to plug this in. So what happens when you don't have the ports screwed into the board is you go to do this. Let me look at it. Oh, whoop, the port popped off. Fuck that. Hell no. I want the port attached to the board. Stay in there. Hey, we put all the little Humpty Dumpty pieces of this in the bag. See if we get the same behavior when it's outside of the case and nothing is plugged into the machine. Five volts, 409 milliamps. Alright, so I'm going to take a look over the board here. See what we have. Now remember, every CD3215 has to be working in order for us to get 20 volts. So let's just see what they look like real quick. Let's also see if they are receiving the voltage that they need in order to turn themselves on. Interesting. Around it, yes. Okay, so nothing funny there. Just dust. Nothing too terrible. 500 milliamps is not going to be fan spin at 5 volts, you know? At 20 volts, yes. Yeah, that is a lot of dust. Yeah, that's what sucks about these new T2 boards. Like, on the old ones, okay, liquid damages it, fine, I get it. A capacitor shorts it, explodes, I get it. This one just dies for the sake of dying. Thank you for the content you create. Watching your videos is one of the ways I decompress after a long day. Good luck with the new store. Thank you very much, Nbots. I highly appreciate that. So, yeah, Nbots, what is causing this to take 400 milliamps and not turn on? The other interesting thing is that PP-Bus G3 Hot is not just a buck converter. It works as a DC to DC boost chip on here too. So see, even though I only have 5 volts coming in the charge port, if I measure PP-Bus, 7.7. It's actually jumping. You see that? 7.7, 7.2. 7.7, 7.2. So something in front of it must be short-circuited to be allowing this to happen. And I think we should figure out what is. So something here is going to be shorting. If we're taking 500 milliamps, yeah, something's up. So that's 2.5 watts that we're taking. And the T2 and the CD3215 and all that is not going to be using all of that. That's not what's getting warm here. So we're going to take a little look around the board and see if there's anything that's looks like it's giving us obvious fault problems. Any of the normal suspects? Hiss. Please, David's using the Please Bro thermal cam at the moment. No, I haven't found that yet, Kill Switch. My wife Debbie and I just adopted our third cat from New York. We live in eastern Massachusetts. We tend to take on the hard cases. This little guy was badly abused. After a week, is already starting to trust us. Aw. One of the New York City kizzies was a hospice. She was our second hospice cat, but very sweet, even though she only lived 9 weeks before cancer. Ouch. Cancer is terrible for... The worst thing about cats is that you typically outlive them. All right, let's open up a schematic and a board view for the 820-00850 in the Paul Daniel software. Paul Daniel software, as usual, is drunk and opens it up improperly, but luckily that can be fixed with a simple hit of a keyboard key. And there we go. Well, let's see, do we have PP5E G3 shit? Let's see if we have our G3 shit rails. No, nothing, not even pulsing. Let's see, what do we have here? Ooh, I saw an enable pulse. And then it stopped. Yeah, it was just for a quick moment, wasn't it? Let's see if we have PP5ES5 LDO. Nothing. First we have to... I think that the... Yeah. This is going to suck. So nothing... This machine is really nothing on it but a couple of dog hairs. Now something is taking 500 milliamps and we should figure out what that is. Something's actually hot on this side of the board. I just felt it with my finger. But David, we only have one thermal cam at the moment, so we're gonna have to... You're done? Oh boy. Alright, so the Please Bro camera is heading on its way over to me. There's a bunch of things in the desk for it to bump into on its way to me because of Tiny Store. But that's okay, we'll settle for the fact that we're just gonna knock a bunch of shit over on my desk. It's just another day at Rossman Repair. Okay. So we're gonna put this under the thermal Pepe. And let's see what the thermal Pepe has to say. So thermal Pepe is here. And as you can see, something's getting warm around this side of the board. Okay, it looks like right up there, 54 Celsius. Now, is it on the other side of the board or this side? What happens if we flip it? Interesting. Okay, this side of the board it has to be, because in the other... So the hottest point in this part of the board is 58 Celsius, whereas on this side of the board, the hottest thing is 56. So, if I had to guess which side it was, I would guess it was the side that was registering... Damn it. Okay, now they're both registering 56. Okay, that's fucking lame. Okay, how are we gonna... Let's look at it in the microscope and see. Let's give that area another look through. Yeah, thermal camera's fired. Thermal camera's fired. Okay, we're gonna go back to the old routine. Alcohol and a Q-tip. But my alcohol dispenser doesn't seem to be here. Gotta run for the evening. I'll catch the stream entirely tomorrow. I'll keep on keeping on. Thank you, Christopher Kelly. Do you have the alcohol squirt bottle?
You want to use this one?
Oh, that's pretty. What? Okay. So let's see what we get here. What does it disappear from first? Is it the cap or the chip? Also, which chip is it? Is it this one? Or is it this one up here? I think it's the bottom one. Yeah, the alcohol's barely leaving from here. Whereas on this one over here, the alcohol has already evaporated itself. And is now not evaporating because I just said that out loud. Okay, that's trolling. That's hardcore trolling. Now, if we look at the charge ports themselves, you'll see that one of them has green stuff on it and the other one doesn't. So see that? I'm just going to edit the exposure here. Alright, so that has some blue stuff in the middle. like right here. See that? And this one does not have the blue stuff. So whatever charge port this is associated with is going to be the one that I'm interested in. But I forget which CD3215 is responsible for that port. Let's see if the schematic will tell me. I think it does, just in a really vague way. Remember this. CD3215 is going to speak to a charge port. Yeah, the CC1, CC2 thing. So that's going to speak. Let's see, on where though? One of those is going to go directly to the connector, I believe. No. Alright, so let's see. So it's this charge port, right? That's bad. This charge port is plugged in to the top of the connector. See, that flex goes to here. Not the bottom part of the connector, the top part. So I'm interested in, on the schematic, I'm going to be looking for which CD3215 is associated with the top of the connector. Yeah. And bam. So I just found something here, that's going to go to this chip. So it's the bottom one. So what we did there is I took a look at the connector. I realized something's getting hot on the right side of the board, but I couldn't tell which USB-C port controller it was. And the reason we're blaming the USB-C port controller is because this is supposed to be telling the charger to go to 20 volts and it's only going to 5. We figured it's a short circuit because it's drawing 400 milliamps when typically when it's stuck at 5 volts it's only drawing 0.04 amps or something like that. Now, which CD3215 is it? Well, the way we get a guess is I took a look at the two charge ports over there, and one of the charge ports in that side of the machine was corroded, liquid damage. So now I got to figure out which CD3215 controls that charge port, and I did that by looking at that part where that connector plugs in the board and clicking on all those little pieces right here. So where does this plug into the board? And it plugs in here. And then on that section of the board view, I'm going through it one by one, and I want to see which CD3215 do you go to. The top one, the top USB-C port controller, or the bottom of the board USB-C port controller. So, and it's not going to this one, it's going to this one. So we're going to remove that USB-C port controller and replace it with one that actually works from store.rossmangroup.com. First thing we're going to do before we do that is just remove that charge port so we don't burn it at all. That's going to require a magnet. Looks like I'm out of magnets. So I got to buy one from Paul. Who are we kidding? We're going to steal it from Paul's desk and just not tell him. He'll never know. Now it's interesting. This thing is popping up as I unscrew it, which leads me to believe that something funny is going on here. Let's see. Well, that looks fine. That also looks fine. And just to make sure, let's see if I plug it in on the other side, what happens. Nah, still taking 480 milliamps, so that is a bad CD3215. Now, the problem here is that this side is underfilled, so this is going to be a pain to remove. This is not going to be fun, and we've also got NAND right under it, so that's going to have to be protected. Yeah, that's the SSD right under it. So that is the chip we need to replace. That is the SSD protected by what looks like a little papery shield. Feels like burlap. Now I gotta find myself a penny or something. Gonna cover that SSD up. There we go. And now we're gonna remove that CD3215. This is gonna be a bit of a pain in the ass to remove because of the underfill. So I'm thinking is I'm actually gonna heat it a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, and then we're gonna try cutting around it. Now, we've already proven Paul Daniels' theory of why this board is not working wrong. Next, we're going to prove an L wrong when he predicts the outcome of this chip replacement. We're just going to be shitting on the trolls full time tonight. This is a shitting on the trolls kind of stream. Alright, so let's cut this thing up. Alright, I don't want to scratch the board. I want to scratch right where the underfill is meeting the board. Or meeting the chip, I should say. Because that stuff is the stuff that does most of the holding of it. The stuff under the chip is not really... That's not something I'm worried about. Whoops. That cap will get put back on, you'll see. A little bit of flux. Sane Q, underfill is this stuff that's supposed to keep the solder... It's supposed to take some of the stress from repeated drops, and it's also supposed to protect against liquid damage. It's kind of like when I seal my bicycle so that when it rains, water doesn't seep in. But at the same time, when I need to maintain it, it also makes it a nightmare to the point where I'm willing to bribe Paul by buying him a drone to fix my bike, then fix it myself, because I've made it such a nightmare. Ryan Radford says Paul makes the best software. We'll agree to disagree. So I just knocked off the sleep sensor. We can always put that little cap over there back on, though. What I'm really interested in is cutting around this underfill. Make this. Alright, so I've cut around quite a bit of it. You check to see roughly what power rails relate to where the heat was coming from. Any chance the fault is actually on the net and not the CD3215? No way. That's CD3215 heat. Rip sleep sensor. Who needs you anyway? Okay. Let's put that cap back on. Oh, for fuck's sake, where'd you go? Ugh. Underfill is annoying. Okay, F you, CD3215. So I gotta put this resistor back over here. My iron tip isn't heating, that's what's going on here. Source? Why didn't you... For some reason, my soldering iron has a hot tweezer tip on it, and I don't like this at all. It really screws up with my accuracy. Ah, shit. What do I do? Let me grab that resistor out of there. Pads are all still there, by the way. Let's just keep score with the trolls here. Excuse me. The resistor may be upside down, but that's such as life. Okay, we're gonna... I need to suck up this ball of solder without sucking up the resistor with it. And there we go. Next I have to figure out what the value is of that capacitor that I made disappear. You know, it's interesting. Both of the capacitors that disappeared are not on my mat anymore. Effing gravity. Okay, so... not even wicking just yet. I'm just going through this underfilled stuff. Yeah, I'm just plowing it away. Yeah, just get rid of all that nasty old underfill. See? Just plow it to the side. Mr. Plow. Mr. Plow. Okay, maybe one missing pad, but no big deal. Okay. And the problem here is that we didn't use enough wick. Had we used the wick, we would have all our pads. What I like about the wick is that it takes virtually no touching with the wick to destroy the underfill. So I can use an amount of wick that is never going to rip a pad, but that will destroy the underfill. Okay. Thanks.
We should get some of those. Do you like those?
Yeah, they're not bad. Alright, where'd you get these Q-tips that are shaped like little spears? I like these, dude.
Amazon? Yeah, I use them because of the iPhones.
Okay, so let's see. We have 3 missing NC pads in the middle. The NC pads stand for not connected. So on the board view, you can see that there are pads that are not connected. They come off the easiest because there's nothing really holding them to the board. It's not like they're anchored to a signal or a trace or something important. And there I almost owned myself. Okay, now this trace over here that is broken actually belongs to several other. So this resistor over here is going to go here, here, and there. So that pad I can simply fix with a wire. That's actually no big deal at all. So we're going to run one little wire there, and then all will be happy and well again. And I'll be able to place a new CD3215, put the sleep sensor back on, add a cap, or the way they say it properly, a capacitor, and we should be set and ready to go. I just had a shooting pain run through my upper back. I thought it was an itch, but it's like getting stabbed. Ow. What the hell is that? Okay. Jesus Christ. Ow. WTF. I dare you to say something genuinely nice about Paul's Flexboard View software. His software has a great personality. Now, why am I tinning all the pads? Well, I'm going to add a wire to one of those. And when you add a wire, I'm raising it. And since it's going to be raised, I can't have a bunch of pads that are flat and others that are raised, because then it's not going to solder properly. Now, I usually prefer using the micro pencil for this, but my micro pencil tip has been replaced by some jagged, bent, hot tweezer tip. Not cool. Whoever did that here. But we're going to make do with it for the time being. I'll just use the really large iron for something that I clearly should not be using a large iron for, but we'll make it work. We make things work. No use in crying about it. Excuse me. Hello, Catherine. I can't grab this properly. I miss my T30K micro soldering pencil. This thing is terrible. I wouldn't wish on Tim Cook to have to use a micro pencil. I mean, a hot tweezer tip for his micro pencil. It's just cruel. Nobody should have to go through this. This is awful. It's really funny how a slight change in equipment like that can cause you to feel completely crippled. That's the only way I can describe it, is It's like if you feel like I'm trying to do the work after having something amputated. It's just so incredibly aggravating. Okay, so now that wire is where it needs to be. Okay. Beautiful. This cap still hasn't soldered into place over here, by the way. There's a reason I didn't put this back. This cap not being soldered into place means that I have not used sufficient heat to damage the NAND. So even if I did not have this shield absorbing heat sitting over the SSD chip right under it, I'd probably be good. But with that chip there, I'm definitely good. That's why I'm leaving that there. It's like my little temperature sensor. It serves two purposes. No. So now I'm going to add a little bit of flux, and I'm going to walk up to the front to get a CD3215, at which point my Sennheiser microphone, transmitter, and receiver that have squelch configured as per the way they tell you to set it up in the manual will not work and will cause a large burst of static that will deafen you all in about 5 seconds. Thank you to our sponsor Sennheiser for the receiver-transmitter combo where squelch doesn't work even when you set it up. I can't see the chip. I'm blind. No? Maybe? See ya. All right, we're back. Now I just want to make sure that that pad where I soldered the wire to is a bit more flat. Now we push our chip on the board. And we're going to expect to solder that in place. Next up, sleep sensor. Turn down the air a little bit for the sleep sensor. Grab those solder balls with this. Okay. Now to be a perfectionist and put those two caps back. Really? You used a different size bypass cap in a different year? Well, that is... You mofos. What really sucks with these is that all the donor boards I bought recently with that have... Where the sleep sensor is, there's no sleep sensor. And you can't buy the whole board anymore. You can only buy wings. You can buy the wing or the breast, but not the... You can't buy the actual full donor. And all of these that we actually paid for are missing sleep sensors. That sucks. That is such douchey shit. Okay, let's see what we have here. Every one of them. The ones, even the ones that do have a sleep sensor. The hall sensor and the cap are ripped off of them. That is aggravating. Okay. It's my executive decision that was a 0.1 microfarad capacitor. You don't have a schematic for that because that's a part on the board itself. I mean, it's its own board on the board. So the only thing the schematic is going to tell you is that J whatever is the sleep sensor. It's not going to tell you the value of the capacitor. So my executive decision... Let's see if I got one of those. That's my executive decision. When someone says 100 microfarad cap. All right. Interesting. My book only has picofarads and nanofarads. Seriously? Hmm. 100 nanofarad is Much lower inductance, so it is better. I'm off. Have a good night. Good night, Jason. Thanks for everything. And thank you for the $2. Let's see. So I have... Yeah, I have 100 nanofarads, so I guess I'll go with that. .100 nanofarads equals 0.1 UF. Yeah, that was. I think that's what I said. 0.1 UF. So we're gonna put that on there. Oh, come on, you cunt. Get off of the tweezer. There you go. All right. Put back the book. And we're going to put that on there with some solder. Okay, a little bit of solder. Some fluxuses. Alright, and now we're going to put my cap in there. And as I'm soldering my capacitor, that other cap that's on the sleeve sensor is going to get soldered into place very nicely. Alright, so the cap on the sleep sensor is going to get flown into place as I'm flowing the capacitor over there. Beautiful. Alright, at this point, we're going to see if after this cools off for a little bit, if we get 20 volts in the charger and get power. If it does, I'll be quite happy, because that'll mean that there's a working MacBook and that not every 1989 has a dead T2 chip. I'm tired of 1989s with dead T2 chips. They make me sad. I don't like being sad. After this, we'll likely be going to get going. And then we'll... Alright, so... let's put this back where it belongs. That is a board with that board was a donor that had a dead CPU. So that belongs in Paul's desk. That's where all the dead CPU boards go here. On Paul's desk. And... see what happens if we plug this in. Let's turn off the fume extractor. I don't need you no more. Yeah, I gotta plug this in. .11 volts. Now it's taking 350 amps rather than 450 milliamps. And now it's taking the exact same 460 milliamps it was in the beginning. No change. That is a troll. That is quite the troll. Alright. That is quite a troll right there. So... Yelling out random names of random chips without rhyme or reason is not really a solution. So let's see what happens in the thermopepic camera. We're going to try the thermopepic camera and see what shows up on the screen. So if we go to the display capture, alright, looks like it's something up from the chip. Very strange. I don't know if that means that the thermal camera is miscalibrated. Let's see, is this lined up properly? What happens if I just put my finger here? Yeah, this is not aligned right. Yeah, this has to be realigned properly, so. Somebody keeps fucking with this with the calibration of the camera. Okay, restore default. Okay, that makes more sense. Now it's the top T2 chip. I mean, not top T. I mean the top CD3215 that's getting warm. So what do we have in the bottom? So on the bottom, we've got 44 Celsius. Whereas on the top, we have 56. So there's a good chance that both of those chips were actually bad. So let's run with it. Because before, the bottom one was the hotter of the two, and now the top one is the hotter of the two. Interesting. Very interesting. So I think this is this board's way of keeping me here late, since I was planning to call it a night at that juncture. So what I'm going to do, because I don't have discipline or self-control, is stay at work even later on a Sunday night to replace the second underfilled CD3215 that I believe to be short-circuited. Hello, Mr. Italy Man. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did before. I'm just going to mildly heat that. I'm looking now I had this little shield on my desk and it went away. That's lame. But luckily another shield has made itself available to cover up this stuff. Seller says it doesn't need to be reballed. Oh no, these chips come with balls. What size is that wire? It was coated until I removed the coating. I think it's 48 or 50 gauge. Alright, we're just going to cut through some of that underfill. The underfill is what makes this a pain to remove. Dual filter pack on the CD3215 right was shorted. On the CD30 dual filter. Dual filter. So you're right. When you're right, Mr. Daniels. But I don't believe that is going to be what actually caused my problem. Thank you for noticing. So the dual filter pack that I left shorted is for USB UPC TAFN. That's not power, though. That's the thing. That wouldn't explain why my top chip was getting to be... It wouldn't explain why the top chip was getting to be 56 Celsius. Like, even with that shorted, I hear you. It was bad. It was broken. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be like that. But this chip should not be getting to be 56 Celsius. No way. So I think the reason it was difficult to tell which one it was last time is because both of these chips were actually bad. Okay, so we cut this up. Oh, lame. Alright, so let's cut around here. Alright, now we're going to remove that and put a new one. And this time, the sleep sensor's not going to come off. I also heated it so much while removing the underfill that some of the solder balls are already coming off, but who cares? No. Lift straight up. Beautiful. One cap, but we're going to put you right back where you belong, motherfucker. We're going to put you right back where you belong. I'm not getting defeated by an A1989. It's just not happening anymore. I refuse to accept it. You know, we've let enough of these A1989s and A1990s run rampant, thinking they own the place, thinking that this store is just a joke to them. But that's not how it's going to be anymore. Every one of these A1989s is going to be fixed, and it's going to go screaming, crying back to its T2 chip. Mommy, I didn't want to work. I didn't want to work. It's like, motherfucker, you're going to work. You know, that's what it is. Okay. No, 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 nice try, Cap. You little piece of sukablet. Nice try. Get out of there. I really miss my T30KN. I gotta get myself an T30KN back. Okay. That cap just jumped off the board. Just said, I'm done. I'm tired of serving Apple. That cap decided it would serve Apple no more. It made a run for it. We got to put a net right outside the CD3215 from that's going to catch those caps before they do that. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah. What's that noise that Sideshow Bob would make every time you get hit in the face with a rake? Oh, what the okay. Sukablat. Alright, what is all that shit there? God, mother flower. Okay, we have a not connected. And we have a wire for that. We need a wire for you. So much for going home. Anytime soon. Okay. That's fine. Just gonna enter a new mode of productivity. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna enter a new mode of just forgetting about everything else there is to do today. Everything else I had in mind for my evening. And we are going to dedicate it to kicking this board's ass for screwing with me. So let's do this pad by pad, trace by trace. Ready? All right. For number 5. Okay, we run a little bit of solder. We run a little jumper wire. And the jumper wire ran away while I wasn't looking to grab my tweezer. Alright, we grab another jumper wire. We hold this one by the something. But the tweezers are too thick to be able to hold this little jumper wire, so we try again. Alright, we just put a little flux there, no big deal. And get our wire. This hot tweezer tip is genuinely awful as a micro soldering tip. Micro soldering pencil. I grow more and more aggravated at this being on my desk. Let's see what happens if I try the proper tip. You don't get warm. Yep, you're broken. Alright. We're going to keep trucking on with the piece of crap tip. This tip is beyond useless. Like, it conducts nothing. Okay, there we go. You've got one jumper. Now we make another jumper. Yeah, that tip's a piece of shit. I've bought a lot of T30KNs, but if I don't buy them, it doesn't look like anybody here reorders them when they break. And that makes me sad. There's also no place to keep them. There's not really a place to... we're out of space to put a lot of basic things and organize them the way I'd like to. 13 people just don't fit in the 650 square feet the way it should. So, this is all the type of stuff that the new store is going to make a lot easier. But I'll deal with this for the next coming month. Got a month left of this dump or so. Alright, so... this soldering tip is just penance. Penance for all the times I've been an asshole in my life. Penance for all the times I treated somebody the way that I did not want to be treated myself. Penance for every time I was an asshole boss. That's what this is right here. These tweezers can suck my dick. Right, next. Do these sharp at least? Maybe these ones are sharper. Okay, that's much better. Alright, we cut the excess off of that wire there. Now we bring this over to the pad. Okay, let's make that a little bit more visible by moving the flux away. It's in the description for the gentleman who asked about the tweezers I use. There should be a link down below that you can use to see everything that I use here. What pad? This pad. Alright, So we do that. Those two are reattached. Next up, these two are actually the same thing, it looks like. Just double check and make sure. Yeah, those two actually are the same as these two and this one. So same as the other one. I can just make an L or a single line there and I'm good. Okay, first thing to do here is tin the wire. Good. Some flux. Grab the tweezers that work. Grab the wire with the tweezers. Pray the wire doesn't run away from me. Okay. I was going to run that over twice, but that's looking like it's going to be far too much of a hassle, so we'll just cut it off at a question mark looking loop. That'll have to do. Okay. And the sixth one on the top. That's not connected, so I don't have to care about that. So this one... So that's not connected. I don't have to care about that. That's not connected. I don't have to care about that. Those two I fixed. I got to green this on the outside a little bit. And that one there is not connected. I don't have to care about that. So we're about ready for a little preliminary cleaning and then greening. Let's just get rid of the excess. Actually, I should tin all the pads first, but maybe I should green the wire. You know what? I'll green the wire first. How about that? Alright, so we just heat that up a little bit. Imagine being the next person to have to remove this chip. Paul is fine. Okay. Perhaps I got a little rusty with how much pressure I'm allowed to use when cleaning it after I do the job. I think I got a little used to the pressure required from my bike rather than the pressure required from my board. So okay. Okay. I'm satisfied there. Ah, there's one on the side I didn't do yet. Shit. UPC gate. Yeah, this piece of shit. Alright. Let's see if there's a trace for you. Almost forgot UPC gate. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit of a trace over here. There we go. Move that other wire up so it doesn't interfere with this one. Okay. Now we're going to grab another tiny wire. I grabbed the shit tweezers again. I could tell I grabbed the shit tweezers because I grabbed the wire and then it didn't follow me. Okay. Alright, let's tin it a little bit. Shit, I moved my other wire. Oh no! I moved the other wire. Oh dear God, this is like trying to keep a... This is like trying to keep a ping pong ball down in a bucket of water with one hand. I mean, one finger. So aggravating. Okay, so alright, we're gonna cut the edge of that wire off. Loop this wire back around. Let's blow these into place. They'll settle where they should go. Okay. Now for the lower one. There we go. Much better. Alright, now we need the green only for a few of these. I'm going to clean off my X-Acto blade, because I needed to apply the green stuff with a Q-tip and some alcohol. Okay. Now the green stuff is going to go only like right here so that this doesn't move a lot. Gravity is going to fail me because trolling, So I need you to go here. But yeah, gravity is actually being quite a troll tonight. Gravity only works when I go on the scale at the gym. Not when I need to cover over something that's important on a MacBook repair. Ah, shit. Yeah, that wire's not long enough. Son of a... Yeah, I need it to go further into the pad. You bitch. Alright, let's try this. Moving that wire a little bit. Okay, much better. I have to get rid of that green shit on that pad now, because that's the wrong pad. Alright. Dust ye off, dust it off. Shake it off, actually. Maybe we'll shake it off instead. Alright, that looks much more proper. Alright. This would be cool if I could just draw with it. Like, if it stayed on the tip. But as you see, gravity ceases to function when you focus on getting a board repair done before you go home. So if you're right close to going home, if you're like on the last job of the day and something screws up, you'll notice that some of the basic laws of physics like gravity stop working. So see how there is a bubble of the green stuff over here and very little at the tip, if not none? That's because gravity has stopped working, because gravity and the laws of physics understand that I would like to leave now and be done with my day. And that's when gravity and physics and Mother Earth go, lol, fuck that. And that's what it's doing right now. So, now don't look at that, because that is UV. UV light is not good for you. You don't want to look at that. Don't look at that. Yeah. Alright, so now at this point, we are going to add some solder. For any of you Australian, European people watching, solder to the pads. And then we're going to put a replacement chip on here. I just ate a wire again. Okay, I gotta rerun one wire, because I ate it. I usually like to do these tinnings with my micro pencil for the smaller stuff like this, but I can't, because my micro pencil was replaced with a fucking hot tweezer tip that doesn't work well. Yeah, see, this doesn't tin for shit. This is rubbish. That's junk. Alright. I can't get more micro pencils because it's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, unfortunately. Yeah. They don't have these at Best Buy. Let's see what this does. Oh, much better. Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. If anything, I'm probably going to wind up, when I edit this, titling it, "This is what using the wrong soldering tip does to you." Or not even the wrong one, but just the one that's not right for you. Because look, it just works now. It's just beautiful. No amount of technique was going to make that bastardized piece of shit somebody here that is going to get euthanized, put on my desk, work properly. No technique is going to make that work right. But then you do this, and it just works beautifully already. Tins, pad after pad after pad. Alright, so I'm going to have to rerun one wire, no biggie. Somebody's getting euthanized for that. This hot tweezer tip in my micro pencil rubbish. Either that, or I'm going to make them work on a commission basis using that tip and that tip only. I think that's fair. Take away salary and make you work on a commission basis, but you can only use this soldering tip, that soldering tip. Micro pencil with a hot tweezer tip in it. That sounds totally fair. Oh dear God. Okay, because that tip is weak, we have to... We're going to run it to each one of those pads individually. Okay, blunt side, turn, about face, grab. You can't grab. Another set of tweezers. Let's see if you can grab. You're even worse. Let's try this set of tweezers. Oh, these are new out of the box. Okay, you can kind of grab. Okay. All right. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tap, tap, tap. Good. What the hell are you doing, Cap? Alright, that Cap gets to be drunk. I'll allow it. Did you just hear that? The fume extractor just sucked up my metal shield. This is a UV pen. It shoots out UV. So if I do this into your eyeball, yeah, you feel that right in your cornea? Yeah, that's right, mofo. Right in the sensor. Oh, yeah. Take that. Take that, you bastard. Hello, welcome indeed. I'm not in a very welcoming mood at the moment. I'm actually in a assault this board and destroy it kind of moment, but we're almost done. We're almost ready. And then I can get the fuck out of here. I actually can't test the Bafang that Paul just fixed, really, because it doesn't have a front fender. It really disappoints me that virtually no bike shop in New York City has a fender that fits that damn bike. You can buy it on eBay for about 20 or 30 bucks. Okay. But what are you going to do? So let's just clean the desk a little bit while I wait for the board to cool down. Whether we lost or we won, one of the important things is to leave the desk in a decent condition so that when I come back tomorrow, the thing is, if the desk is nasty, I'm going to feel worse when I get started with work and stressed, and then it's going to carry over into the next day, and you don't want the stress of today to carry into tomorrow's work. Keeps you from being as efficient. So we're just going to put everything back while we're waiting for this to cool down. Everything in its right place, as Radiohead would say. Roll this up a little bit and put you on the desk. Now, I believe I've run pretty much every one of those. Go home and pet kitty cats. Yes, will do. So at this point, I have rerun every single missing pad or trace. I've replaced everything that was short-circuited. We've looked over the board in detail. So at this point, I expect when I plug this in to get 20 volts, or at the very least something other than 5 volts, 450 milliamps, because that would just be trolling. And this is doing the exact same thing it was doing before. Except now at least it's blinking up and down a little bit. But it's doing literally the exact same thing. Now it's jumping up and jumping down, but virtually no change there. So if I now that is just that's just a fucking troll beyond all trolls, and that's just disgusting. So let's see. Does anything get warm on this board? Have we changed anything? All right. So we have this Pepe thermal camera, but the Pepe thermal camera seems to be out of focus today. Oh, what the fuck? Let's see. Let's get this in view. All right. So okay, camera, infrared. Now, is anything actually so the thing is, we did fix the issue where stuff was getting hot. Nothing is getting warm at this point. I don't have another monitor for chat, so I'm just gonna have to minimize all of you so I can see the thermal camera software. Yeah, 34 Celsius. That doesn't count. That's the PMIC. We expect you to get to be 1 or 2 Celsius hotter than the rest of the machine, but 37 Celsius is not a short in any way. Okay, now this is funny. So the side where I replaced the CD3215s is not getting warm. However, the side with CD3215s that I have not replaced yet is getting warm. So this is absolutely hysterical. So each time I replace a CD3215, it stops getting hot, but other CD3215s get hot and pulse. You can't be big. This is no, not again. Not again. You fucking piece of shit. Look, this side is nice and cold. Each of the CD3215s I replaced, 32 Celsius. 32 Celsius! You fuck! You weren't getting warm before, you piece of shit! Fuck you! Fucking American. Look at that shit. 54 Celsius. You motherfucking piece of shit. Issue with the net, perhaps. What net are you talking about, Paul Daniels? What net are you talking about, you bastards? Net. So it's getting hot on the bottom right side. And the bottom right side of the chip is 18 volts going into it. Like saying it's the net is like saying it's a component. That's why the board is not working. It's a capacitor. You're being a viewer. That's one of the worst insults I could hurl at you. Alright, so starting from the bottom right corner, which is where this piece of shit seems to be dying. let's see, what do we have here? Net is a line/rail. No shit, but that's useless. If I tell you your board is bad because of a capacitor or resistor or inductor, it's like, yes, that's the point. Obviously. Obviously. But that's useless. Okay. So now the chip gets warm starting in the bottom right. So let's take a look. Thank you for the $2, Mr. Coderstone. So we look at what is on the bottom right of the chip, because that's where it begins. So it's not ground, not debug, not SOC DFU status, not Thunderbolt LSX, not USB UPC. Okay, we may be getting close. PP1V8, that's not going to be it. Because that's an LDO that's actually created by the chip. So this is not going to be what's trolling us. But I'll check just for the hell of it. Yeah, it's in millions of ohms. That's not it. Alright, so remove chip, plug it back in. Okay, which side is the hotter side? So this side, on the bottom right, goes to 48 Celsius. And it hits 50 max. This side see if we change ports, what happens. Alright. Alright, so the chip is 45 Celsius. And the other side, when I plug in the different port, is 52. I kind of wonder if both of them are bad, honestly. What if all of them? It would be really funny if one of them is killing the rest. Let's say there's a short from 18 volts to something else inside the chip. That would be funny. You know what would be really hysterical? This would be the best. Just imagine for a second if the chip had a problem that was sending 18 volts to the 3 volt data line that they all communicate on. So each time I replaced one of the older ones, those are actually getting killed, and then they kill the new ones. I give up. I'm done. I cave. I'm gonna go home and pet my kitty. Fuck this board. This is what employees are for. I'm giving this one to an L tomorrow.